How influential is your right now discipleship? Charles Kettering was once quoted in saying, "My interest is in the future because I am going to spend the rest of my life there." While Kettering may be correct about where we spend our tomorrow, the ideals, the people, and many of the details and influences that make up our tomorrow are a wide variety. The people that we glean from, the people that teach us, the people that we spend all of our time around can be much more influential than a book can at times. While there are many classes, while there are many teachers, programs, and theses on what true leadership can be, I believe until you are under the influence of a spiritual father or mother that disciples true sonship and daughtership, your definition of what a leader can be may be abstract or far from the truth. Leadership is the influential development of disciples through proper training in God's Word, so that a relationship between Christ and humanity causes exponential growth for the betterment of the Christian and the secular community. Notice how one of these communities is not left out. How the influence from the Christian community is positively directed towards the secular community. I believe that being a reflection of Christ truly will change those around you. That the actions that we demonstrate as being faithful followers of not just God's Word and not just God's teachings, but of His heart, will truly impact those who are not believers or those who have not had a radical love encounter with Christ. Christ's model for leadership was in fact that we would do greater things than He did. I believe that our model for leadership has to be the same. We cannot be stuck on how good we are, but how good we are teaching. John 14:12 goes on to say, "Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do these works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these because I am going to the Father." I believe that in this description of what a leader can be, this goes to show that a true foundation will eventually be separated between the leader and between the follower. And there will become a time where the follower has to step out of sonship and into a greater dimension of discipleship. Leadership through the church looks like doing greater things while at the same time being as humble as those around you. It wasn't through trying to be better than Jesus that the disciples succeeded, but rather than observing His behavior and emulating His heart. All too often in today's society, we try to be better than those around us. We try to strive to be on top of the mountain. We try to strive to burn our own path. And this is what society tells us to try to do, is to be better than the guy next to us or to the girl next door. When in reality, God was telling us to be the same or to correspond with. That was the mere definition of emulate. Jesus was never calling us to strive to be better, but He was calling us to thrive by being influential. I believe that it is up to the church to be a reflection of what leadership is by using our technical skills or God-given talents. It is up to us to use our human skills, our compassionate hearts, or even our conceptual skills by displaying wisdom through God's Word. As a young leader, beginning in discipleship ministry years and years ago, a wise man once told me that people are always watching. People are always watching what we do. People are always watching what we say. So it is up to us to be that influential impact in others' lives so that we may be the demonstration of Christ in that moment. What does your right now discipleship look like? Dr. Seuss was once quoted in saying, "Only you can control your future." But what he failed to mention was that those around you can still have an influential impact on how you direct others. Leadership can be defined as the positive, influential impact established through a reverent relationship with Christ that is observed by others and demonstrated through your actions. What do your actions look like today? What did your actions look like yesterday? Do you know who was watching you yesterday? Do you know who God was preparing you for tomorrow? Matthew 6:33 tells us that only by seeking Him above all else will the revelation of true leadership ever be exposed in our lives. He doesn't tell us by seeking other leaders. He doesn't tell us by trying to emulate those in society that we will be more influential to those around us. What Christ tells us in Matthew 6:33 is that when we seek Him above all else, that when we put the cross above everything else in our lives, that true leadership will be shown above all other aspects of what we do. When we put Him above all else continually, He puts us in position to succeed and lead others into the same destiny. And that's what our goal has to be. Pastor Kenny Ball was once quoted in saying, "You'll never receive a promotion without training your replacement." And I think this is what leadership looks like in the church. I think this was modeled in the time of Christ with the disciples. I think this is modeled in our times that we are living right now. That if we are not properly training our replacements right now in this discipleship moment that we have been blessed with, then we are leading the sheep astray. We always have to be training. We always have to be aware of what we are saying and what we are doing, because in that moment, in that right now discipleship, it is in those times that we are the most influential. In John 14:6, Jesus connects Himself to the truth. And what other better foundation can Christians have than the truth? This is what leadership is. Leadership is built off ethics, and Christian leadership that is influential to today's secular society must be founded on truth. Without truth, where would we be? Without Christ, who would we be? Matthew 6:34 tells us, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow." Without worrying about tomorrow, where would we be? Christ puts us beyond us by putting tomorrow in the hands of those that we train today. It's not about what we can do in this moment, but it's about who we can train in yesterday to be influential leaders for those that are coming up behind us. Christ's model for leadership didn't stop with Him. It was that the church would do greater things than He, not just because they believed, but because they would be an influential impact that would carry on for generations and generations beyond their belief. It was never about being better, but it was always about being influential.